Yo, what's good? It's Bmar, and you're watching Cloudy Conversations.
Welcome back to another episode of Cloudy Conversations. As always, it's your girl Big T, and today's guest is artist Bmar. We appreciate you sitting down and talking with us.
No doubt, no doubt. Thank y'all for having me.
No problem. So for the fans who may not be aware of you just yet, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Bmar. I'm an artist, producer out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. 23 years old. I've been rocking with hip hop and music for about 7 years now. This is my life. You know, this is real as it gets. You know, I love the culture. I love hip hop. I study. I'm a student. Lyricism, melodies, everything you can imagine, man. This is what I do. This is what I breathe. This is my life. That's who I am.
Definitely. And during my research process, I pretty much learned a lot, and that you started your love off for music around 4 years old. So what are some of those early memories that you feel like impacted you knowing that music was something that you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, man, Kanye, you know, College Dropout, when that came out, that was it. You know, my mom played that in her car all the time. The first hip hop song I ever heard in my life was "Get Rich or Die Trying" by 50 Cent.
Okay, that's a classic track right there.
Yeah, man, that it was Many Men. I heard Many Men, and then I heard All Falls Down right after, and I was like, whatever this is, I just gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? And I was a kid, and I was just influenced by the bug. I got bit by the hip hop bug mad early, and it was because it was speaking to a demographic that didn't really represent itself to the fullest in terms of the masses. And I just love that. As a kid, I think I recognized it. Mm-hmm. The older I get, I realize like they're speaking to my people, my generation. So having a voice for the voiceless, I think was really cool about hip hop, and I just love that always. And Kanye being so diverse and not holding his tongue, and 50 just representing representing what is real and just standing for what he believed, and I just love that. So yeah, them two albums right there, College Dropout and Get Rich or Die Trying, was like my magnum opus of like what I really believed in.
And those are two classic albums, honestly. Yeah. Like people still talk about those projects for those artists today as like, you know, pivotal, game changing sounds for not even just themselves but also for hip hop itself. So for that to be your inspiration, I can kind of see when I go and listen to your music, like it's not an exact, rip off of that, but I can hear the influence.
One more thing I wanted to add to that as well, like I get the inspiration from Ye, but I get the motivation from 50. If that makes sense. You know, like 50, he's in your face. I mean it. I say what I do. I mean what I say. Kanye's like, I'm gonna reach for the stars. I'm a dreamer. And I think that culmination of how that's how my parents are. You know, I mean, my mom is more so like blunt reality, do what you gotta do. My dad is like, yo, dream, do what you gotta do. So like that melting pot was like perfect. I just want to add, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good. I told you, the more you give us, the better it helps us understand, you know, the person behind the music.
Awesome.
And like you just mentioned, like your family, and since you started off with liking music really early, did that kind of consume your childhood moving forward? Like once that eureka moment happened, like that was what you was doing from that time going?
It wasn't, man. I played baseball.
Okay.
You a kid, you know, you skateboard, you play baseball, you do whatever you gotta do. You just act off of what's fun at the moment. You do what your friends do and stuff. So music didn't hit me until I was about 17. Okay. Once I started actually, like Ice Cube said in the NWA movie, once I started actually seeing, but in his case, the cops actually oppressing me, that's when hip hop started relating. And to me, it wasn't the police per se, but it was the things that we're talking about. I started to experience as an adult, and I was like, oh, this is what they're talking about. I'm not just a fan no more. I'm actually in this. And when I was 17, I was like, okay, cool. Like, I see what it's about, and this is more than just entertainment. It's actually documenting reality. And I was like, oh wow, that's powerful. That's like Nat Turner. That's like Malcolm X level, but sonically. And I fell in love with it, man. But
it seems like you really understand not even just the impact hip hop has, but the importance of it and how diverse it is, even if it's still telling the same story, even if it's just a different way. And that's like that's refreshing, honestly, for new age artists, because most people wouldn't know about the history, or most people aren't even as conscious to be like, let me put something out there that's different from, you know, what's mainstream or what's deemed popular, but still is great content, great music. And the more you talk about your influences, it just starts clicking to me. Because like I said, when I was listening to your projects, I was like thoroughly surprised. I never know what to expect going into listening to a new artist, but when yours started to play, I was like, what? Like, it was like blew my mind. And then when I said, like, started researching, I was like, it all makes sense. Like, he's not just the typical put a beat on, I'm gonna punch myself in. Like, this is a thought process, this is a production process. And then with Kanye being your influence, I like I said, like, when y'all hear his music, y'all go tune in, you gonna understand exactly why I'm saying what I'm saying, because it's like, he's not a replica of them, but he took his inspiration and made that shit his own, which is my favorite thing about an artist. So before we even get more so into, you know, the exact music part of it, when you were growing up, you said you did play baseball and, you know, you pretty much did what other kids did. So what was your favorite things to do as a kid outside of, like, you know, running around with your friends?
Yeah, as a kid, man, I was a sponge, man. I absorbed everything around me. You know, baseball was huge. One of my biggest idols is Derek Jeter. So, you know, aside from baseball, I guess really, man, just family, you know.
Family?
Yeah, being Puerto Rican, you know, family's a staple in our culture. And, yeah, just really family and just, you know, being with my family. And
Are you an only child?
I am. Well, technically. I had an older sister who, she passed, she was 5. Yeah, she was 5 and I was around 3 years old. And I wasn't conscious enough to, like, remember anything. But, yeah, you know, growing up, pretty much I was the only child, but, you know, rest in peace, Nana, man. That's my angel. But, you know, I feel like that's what represents me as well, you know. Like, I feel like I have a duty to represent her and hold that legacy. But, yeah, you know, that's it, though, about just me and my sister. And then growing up, it was just me, you know. So I had the freedom to really dabble and try things out.
I was saying, did not to get too personal, but did maybe the loss of your sister affect how your parents tended to you as you grew up now? Do you think, like, did you feel like you were maybe sheltered more than you would have liked, or did they still give you the freedom to kind of, like, be a child and find your own self?
Yeah. That's a dope question. That's real. I think my parents naturally, by nature, are they let me as parents do what I want. So I think regardless of my sister's passing, I think they're just, if they see me intrigued by something, they never were like, hey, don't do that. You know what I mean? Exactly. You know, they were like, don't do that. You know, they just let me rock. And sometimes it was for the worse. You know, when you were approaching 18, when you're approaching 21, they're like, you can't, you know,
I can't keep, you know, teaching you're a man now. I nurtured you up until this age. You know right from wrong. So if you're making these decisions, there's not much I can really say to deter you. Like,
growing up now, I realize there's a thin line between freedom and respect. And that's something I'm taking into my mental, into my parenting when I become a father one day. And not to get, like, super freaking deep, but, like, you know, I realize, like, when you're at that age, when you're becoming adolescence, out of that into a man or a woman, it's like, you know, it's like freedom. You're used to doing things, but when you're doing the wrong things, it's like, yo, you gotta hold yourself accountable and you gotta be real with yourself. So,
no, that's important, and it's definitely a message to give to the people, because that's what I think. One thing the generation doesn't understand is, like, it's cool right now because you might be young, but at some point, it's going to go out of style for you not to have a plan, for you not to be working towards something. And when you get to that point and you look around, you can't blame nobody but yourself, because you had ample time. Shit, I was on that path before it came to a conclusion or came to my mind what I could do or what I wanted to do as far as, you know, the production company, because I had went to school, but I had to drop out because, you know, financial reasons. So when that happened, I'm like, well, life's over. I don't know what to do after this. School was supposed to be, you know, the savior of my life. And then once that failed, I was stuck in a rut for a little bit. But then one day I just thought about it. Like, you don't need school to do what you want to do. Like, you just invest in yourself and
100%.
it'll lead you there. So I think anytime people speak on just the consciousness of what it takes to be, you know, just have longevity no matter what you're doing, it's always a good message to put forward. Now, coming up on 17, 18 is when you said you really started to really expand yourself into music. So what was your first like moment where you decided, all right, I'm about to start taking music serious? Yeah,
the first moment when I really looked at music and I was like, you know what, this is it. I was I used to skateboard, all right? I used to skate and I got injured and I got a brand new MacBook Pro that same day I got injured. And I was like, you know what I mean? Come on. I was messing with it. I was like, you know what, let me see, whatever. And I was messing with GarageBand and I was like, all right, cool, make a little beat. And then that day I was just like, yo, I actually kind of like the music. Like, it's kind of dope. When I got into it, about a month and a half later, I was just making beats every single day. I had no choice, you know what I'm saying? So
you're hurt.
I'm hurt. So I was sitting there just like doing that. And then 7 years later, I'm still doing that. You know, so it's amazing, man. It's just...
So did you start off on the... Not to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
On the production side?
Yep.
So you didn't even tap into your artistry?
I used to write... Or
did you even know that you could even do that?
Yeah. I think I knew in the back of my head because that's the type of person I am. Like, I don't dabble into things publicly, but in the back of my head, I'm like, I could kill that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm just like, I could rap. But, like, officially, like, no, I just started making beats, and I started rapping and rhyming and shit, like, later on. But, it was production for real. It was Kanye. Like, Kanye was a producer. Mm-hmm. So, like, I was just like, yo, I'm gonna do what he did. I'm gonna make beats. Like, that dude was a staple in my life, bro. Like, real talk. How we came up, just how we made beats for Jay and how we...
Yeah, I watched that out here. Really, it gave me a whole different perspective. And it made me understand why people, like, in the industry speak on him the way they do. Because, like, I always knew he made beats and he did all that. But I really didn't understand, like, how much they were just trying to make that nigga stay in a box. And he would not listen to nobody, no matter what they said. Like, you don't understand. Like, I'm the GOAT. And it's like, that's the type of determination you got to have sometimes. Because people are not going to see it until you bring the vision to fruition.
Yeah.
And then when they do, you be like, I tried to tell y'all. Nobody wanted to listen. Like,
self-belief, man.
So, you sing and you rap. So, could you always sing, or like have you really just developed yourself in every pocket of the industry?
100%. I couldn't always do anything.
No shit.
Yeah, when I first started, I couldn't do shit. And to be real, like I couldn't. My beats sucked. My music sucked. My fucking rap sucked. Everything sucked. Be real, bro. Like when you start, you're not good.
Yeah, that shit's
You're not good.
I look back at some of my old stuff like, yeah, I'm gonna keep it up though.
Yeah, and you know what's beautiful though? The only thing that was good was the drive. The drive is always there.
Yeah, because that was my next question. If it sucked, why did you keep going?
The drive. It's like because you want to do it. And I think, I mean, I might make some people question this right here, but I believe that when you first start, the drive is higher because it's brand new. We almost get complacent, like, you show up every day and you know what to do with the camera. You know how to do this. But when you first started, you were so intrigued. And that's how I am with music. And I can't speak to you, per se.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean, though? Like, when you first discover a new land, like, you're like, yo, this is crazy. I'm going to dabble with this. But, yo, that inspiration, when it hits, and that shit just is different, you know? But to begin with, man, I thought my shit was fire. Shit was bad, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was trash, but... It can be going, man, because every day is progression. It's not about perfection, it's about progression, you know.
And you often mix both of the styles, like, on the same song. Do you ever see yourself, like, sticking to one over the other, or the versatility is what kind of defines your music?
Yeah, I think it's about just how you feel, to me. If I feel a type of way and one day I'm going to just rock with that. You know, as I get older and like as I progress in my career, I realize I'm versatile, but that was never my intention. My intention is just express how I feel, and if that's it, that's it. You know, I like everything. I like 80s rock. I like hip hop. I like rap. I like ballads. I like R&B. You know, if I feel a type of way, I'm gonna express it, and I don't lie to myself. You know, if I want to do one thing, I do it. I'll try my best to. You know, so like you mentioned earlier, which is great way to say. You said they try to put Ye in a box. You know, I feel like he was more conscious than me about that. I'm kind of just like, I know who I am. I'm gonna express it, and if people accept it, they don't have to. If they do, that's what's up. You know what I mean? But
yeah, because like when you think about it, you're literally a part of every aspect of the creation process, from the beat to the assembly of the song to the recording of the song to you singing and rapping to the song. So do you ever feel like, well, one, was it always part of the plan for you to literally be your own studio within yourself, and then does that ever kind of stifle your creativity because you have to think of every aspect?
Excuse me. Sometimes I wish that I didn't have to. My bad.
You're good.
Fucking water went down the wrong way. Cut that shit up. I remember your question. You said, does this kind of stifle the process because I have to do so many tasks?
Yeah, you're literally every part of the process.
Alright. I feel like it doesn't because each part plays a significant role, you know what I'm saying? You gotta make the instrumental, you gotta make the beat, you gotta produce, you gotta engineer it. The lyrics matter, you know what I'm saying? The song structure matters, the song topic matters. So I feel like at first it was kind of overwhelming when I first started taking on all these tasks. But after a while, you realize that it's a privilege to do that. You feel me? You don't have to wait for anybody to send you a mix back 2 weeks later after you're already been inspired and the inspiration's gone. You realize, yo, like I can do this all now. And like anything, like going to the gym, working out, being a parent, going to school, you grow accustomed to the process and you adapt. You kind of
look forward to it. Like that's your normal. Because that's what I was thinking. Like when you was talking, I was like, well, it kind of, I guess it would be a benefit in the aspect of you not having to wait on anybody or do anything based off of somebody else's schedule. Like you said, when you got that inspiration, boom, I can make it happen on my own. Yeah. Opposed to outsourcing. Do you outsource or do you literally like just keep everything to yourself because you got what you need?
Yeah, I outsource if I'm inspired to. You know, my friend, my label mate, Hector, he makes beats as well. So if I feel like I need a flavor that he has, I'll be like, yo, let me get that. Videographers as well. Tanner, shout out Tanner. TH Media was popping. It's my boy, man. That's my brother, bro.
I love Tanner.
His second video ever was shot with me. So I'm gonna hold that. You know what I'm saying? I got that forever.
That's a fact.
When he's big, when he's like Lyrical Lemonade status, I got that. So, yeah, man, I outsource in terms of
necessity.
Yeah, if I feel like it can add to the vision, if it can make it better, I'll have no pride. I'll drop that shit and be like, you know what, man, come in here. I need you because you can make this better. Whether it's a person playing a keyboard, whether it's somebody with a lens that looks crazy, or whether it's somebody who can just add a different color that I don't possess, you know, I reach out to them, you know, so, yeah.
What would you say are the downsides to being the producer, the engineer, the artist?
I guess the downsides to an average person would be the time that it takes, but to me, I love everything that has to do with this, so I'm in, you feel me? So, I mean, it can be tedious, you know what I mean? You want to just drop a record, but you gotta mix a snare, you gotta mix a hi-hat, you gotta mix the drums, and sometimes it can be like, damn, like I wish somebody could just knock this out for me.
Yeah, because I didn't even know, like, I'm thinking, like, of course, I know you gotta put a beat together, but now I'm thinking, well, I guess you do gotta fine-tune that, too, because it's like, you might have made it sound good, but now you gotta go in and check every little line, and so it can become time. It
takes time, you know?
But when I'll keep referencing your music because that's the perfect example. When you listen to it, I guess it would make more sense for you to be able to do it yourself because it's not like just a typical, okay, the beat's here, it's going to be the same beat for the first 40 minutes and then maybe it changes at the end. No, your beat has constant, like, inflection, there's samples coming there's stuff in the background, and to be able to try to articulate that to somebody else will kind of probably be a way more difficult task than you just be able to, like, let me just do it and then here's your example for future reference.
So that's my whole entire statement on life, bro. I'm like, yo, instead of trying to have somebody do it the way you want, why don't you just do it the way you want? Yo, what if you hired 2 people to do all the shit you just did?
I would be mad.
You know what I'm saying?
I already know it.
How do you want this? You'd be like, just do it, man. Like,
and I'm saying that's why I was talking when I was setting up. I was telling them, like,
you know what I mean?
I will shoot it. I write the questions. I record. I do the editing, and it's like it is a lot. But at the same time, I'm not in a position where I would be comfortable with telling somebody, "This is what I want you to do, and this is how," and I'm gonna give it to you and trust you. Like, maybe
I know
one
you feel
day,
me though. I know exactly.
I say maybe one day, but if I get my stuff back and it's not right, I'm not putting it out. Like, I'm sorry, I can't. Like,
and it's like it's like equivalent to calling customer service and they just send you right to their manager.
Yo,
it's like, no, like, why couldn't you help me?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, come on, man. Like, I feel you on that. That's real.
No, for real. But doubling back into more so the music side. Did it become natural crafting your skills? I know you said it's like your passion fed a lot of it in your drive, but you didn't know anything until, really started off, and for you to be so proficient in every lane, like, I want to know, like, how did you really fine tune all your skills?
Loving it. Loving the music. I mean, it sounds cliche as hell. Sounds mad basic. Yo, I just love this shit. You know what I'm saying? I wake up every day, I look forward to making music. I just look forward to discovering new sounds. I look forward to making a new project. That's really it.
So, like, when you run into an issue, like, maybe more so in your earlier days, because you're more skilled now, how would you solve it? Like, okay, like you said, you needed to mix a beat or find the hi-hat. Like, did you have to go research it or get books, like, to figure out how to use Pro Tools and shit, or was it a trial and error? I'm gonna put this here and see what that does. Like,
trial and error for sure, man. Like, mind you, the whole time I thought I was ill. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was crazy. I was like, I thought I was so ill. I was like, some of the shit was alright. You feel me? It wasn't the greatest, but it was okay.
It happened to you. You seen that? You seen where it go?
You know what's funny? Like, this is ironic as hell, but last night I went to my Google Drive and, like, my old notes from my old, like, iPhone hard drive. I listened to all my old songs, bro. And I swear to God, I don't care how I sound. I shed a damn tear because I was like, yo, you came a long fucking way.
Yo, that's real shit.
Yo, I was listening to my shit. I had this one song that was about... This is how fucking fake woke I was when I was 18. I made a song about a perspective of me telling who I am now. Like, I was like, just know you worked hard to get here type shit. And I listened to it and I was like, I shed like a Denzel tear. I was like, damn. I was like, damn, like, that dude knew what the fuck I'd become. And not saying I'm the shit or nothing, but I progressed. You know what I'm saying?
And I think it's natural for us to be like, to say a compliment about ourselves, but like try to dull it down so we don't sound like we're bragging.
Yeah.
But
it's appreciation.
I'm gonna say, if nobody's gonna appreciate you, yourself will. So I've been getting into a cycle where I'm gonna talk highly of myself, but not in a braggadocious way or to come off like I'm trying to belittle somebody. But I love myself. I know how hard I fucking work. Like, y'all not gonna see the behind the scenes. So if I'm not gonna big myself up, I know I'm not gonna have the energy or the motivation to keep doing this shit. So every time I talk about myself or what I'm doing, I'm the greatest. I got so many great plans coming. It's a sense of trying to make myself believe it, but also like compliment and pat myself on the back, because we're always our own worst critics. When I'm like, oh, I could be doing this much more, or when it's looking like I'm kind of doing a lot already. So don't feel like you bragging, or don't feel like you don't have the right to talk highly of yourself, because I might not have heard all the early music or the shit that you deem as trash, but I can tell there's progression in your music just from what I've listened to. Right. And that last project, that shit was like, we need to like get this out like to the world, like, and it like I will keep saying that I was thoroughly surprised. Like, I seen how many songs it was. I was like, oh my God, I might be sitting here for mad hours or who knows how long listening to all these songs. And then they started playing. I'm like, wait, let me write that back. I fuck with that, John. Like, I don't mind this song being 23 hours long. Like, it was taking me back to like the era of music where it was like you really focused on your project. It might took you a year to craft your debut album, but when that shit dropped, we gonna be listening to it for a year, so it's like it don't matter. Like,
that was Oh God, right? Our Graceful Obedient. You listen to the deluxe. Name. Long name, long time. Yeah, the deluxe was the first thing I listened to. I was like, oh wait, this ain't deluxe. So I went and checked the first one, and the first 17. One was it was rather long. So when I seen you reload it, I'm like, okay, all right. It wasn't like he gave us a short project to begin with. It was content there. Yeah, and mine, like, just to touch on that real quick, that took 2 years to produce. You know? Wow. Yeah, it took 2 years, man. Like, that's currently my magnum opus in terms of discography. You know, I look at that thing and I'm like, you know, if A&R hits me, listen to that.
I'm gonna say that if you don't send that, I don't know what you sending.
Yeah.
I don't know what you sending.
That joint almost has 100K on Spotify. That's my baby right there. You know, I put
you
my
have
soul into
about
that.
4,000 monthly listeners on Spotify.
Yeah.
Seeing that.
Yeah.
Apple Music, they be trying to hide their stats all the time.
Yeah.
Let us know, like.
Yeah, Apple, you know, but I just want to say real quick to the fans and like people who listen, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all. You know, my fans are as biased as it may sound, like they're different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're from Colombia, Brazil, Chile, UK, LA, does it worldwide, and I appreciate every single listener, man. Y'all are the shit. Y'all mean so much to me, and let's keep rolling, man. Let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably the biggest.
They're real, you know what I'm saying?
That's probably one of the biggest things you can say is that your fan base isn't based strictly in America, because what most people don't realize, like, you can become a star in America, make great money, do your music, but if you become international, you don't never have to drop another project again. Yeah. If you drop one letter there, you could tour off that for the rest of your life, like going country to country. So
and these kids, they message me like, yo, Bmar, like, my sister's lungs weren't, because my sister, she passed from a rare lung disease. Mm-hmm. I had kids message me, yo, my sister passed from something like that too. Bro, you live in the hood of Brazil.
How you even hear about my shit? Like?
That shit touches you different. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, like, what? And it humbles you. Mm-hmm. It makes you think about your voice more, what you say. I'm not huge, you know, but the fact that I had any type of influence, man, it's just like, yo, like...
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing, bro. Straight
and you're still so young.
Straight up. 23, man. So it's like, when you see that type of impact, it's like, you can't take that for granted, man. You just got to take God's gift and run with it.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I did appreciate about your music is you mention God, you mention pretty much what's real about life. And it's like, when I listen to certain songs, like, I'm a God-fearing woman. Like, I love the Lord. I talk about him like in my life daily. I always give him his acknowledgement, his, you know, his worthiness. And when I be feeling like I'm contradicting myself when I'm listening to songs talking about I'm a demon and because I like the song, but at the same time I'm like, that don't really align to my personal journey. So when I listen to your songs, I'm like, alright, cool, I ain't gotta feel bad about rapping this line. Like, I ain't gotta repent at tonight because I said this shit. So I was like, that's what I really fed into the most. And honestly, I think the music industry, I like to talk when we have these. That's why it's cloudy conversation. We're having a conversation, but I honestly think that the music industry is about to have a major shift, and as far as more so the hip hop side, as far as what they're pushing, because
the message, right?
One, all the deaths that's been happening. I'm not saying people haven't been dying before, but we can't act like it's not been, these last 2 years or so haven't been like a crazy amount. Like every month or so, it's like a new rapper dies, whether he's a mainstream or a low stream artist. And then on top of that, we got to deal with RICO cases and all that. It's about the money at the end of the day. So once y'all start costing money and jail time, they not about to keep pushing that. So the artists like you who are actually being authentic, pushing the real, has a message that is relatable, not even just on some gang shit, but like my grandma can listen to this and I don't got to turn it down. Like I think those are the artists who are about to push forward and make their run, because honestly I think that's what we need. The world is at a space where it's just like a lot of crazy shit happening, and the music, again, it's not all based on that, but we can't act like music don't influence us. Like you said, Kanye, you heard a song from him and now that nigga done influenced you to start your own musical path. So it's like we can't act like it's not a vital role to our life soundtrack pretty much. Yeah. So I look forward to like artists like you. I don't know if you're familiar with like Drew Tyrell. Yeah. Y'all probably like you made my list of new favorite like local artists. Him, Running Man, Rye. Like I interviewed these people, but I didn't necessarily. Well, besides Drew, I didn't know about y'all before I listened to the music. So when I started, I'm like, oh shoot, download, put it in my playlist. Like, I've been rambling a little bit, but it's his fault. He gave me some wine. You're good. But I just pretty much, I just wanted to let y'all know, That he just dope. Like, I really want y'all to go listen to his projects, listen to what he does. I don't just interview people just because they wanted to get an interview or anything like that. Like, I do my research and thoroughly put people on my platform who I believe and maybe it might be 5 years from then, but when y'all come back and see, like, oh, T interviewed him, like, I try to tell y'all. Because he's like that.
Mind you, if God willing, I get to a place where I'm blessed to be on a platform, the first person I'm coming to is you. You know what I'm saying? Because people like this, they see the diamond in the rough beforehand, and I can say the same as you. You know what I'm saying? We're both coming up. So anybody, like I mentioned before we started recording, anybody with a passion, you won already. To me. You feel me? So anybody with a passion who's inspired by their craft, you're a winner, man. Matter of time.
That's where I'm coming to the conclusion of life is like, I don't even desire to be famous or have like the most success or even be a millionaire, bro. Right. I'm really happy with being able to put out my work and like be able to say I did that, took it from my brain and put it out to the world. And when I get feedback from people like you say, yo, I fuck with it, or you say shit that I was like, that was my intention. All right, cool. I'm satisfied, bro. Like I want money, of course, but I work. Like I'm not. I ain't rich, but I ain't broke or down bad. Though. Like I'm happy.
No, not even happy. You're joyful. Because happiness is based off circumstances, but joy is within. You can't shift that. So you feel joy in your life.
Hell yeah,
you're pleasing what you do,
ups and
man.
downs,
and you earned it, and you worked hard for that shit. And you structured your life in order to feel joy whenever you want to. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't even think of it like that. I be self-reflecting every day.
Yeah. It's like happiness can come and go based off of circumstance, but joy is something that you can't take away.
That's a jewel right there for the people. What I'm saying. But let's get back more to the music side, because I did have one question that always came to mind when I was listening to your music, was if you had to choose between being an artist or a producer / engineer, which would it be?
I'm gonna be selfish, man. The artist, man. You get all the attention. You know what I mean? Being an artist is beautiful. I like it because you can express yourself to the fullest. And with the artist, you get the producer and the engineer both in it. Because you get the sounds, you get the beat, you get the sonics, you get the mix. So, because engineering and producing is cool, but once you put your voice on top of it, and once you put your message over it, it's like, that's the icing on the cake. So, you know, that message is everything, man. Like,
I thought you was gonna pick artist, honest. Well, no shit. I thought you was gonna pick the producer.
Because that's what I started with. Yeah. Some days, but you know, artist overall. Because like, man, that's you at the end of the day. That's who you are. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I love it all. I love it all, though, man.
So, how would you define your sound? Like for people who haven't tuned in just yet, what would you tell them they could expect when they go and put on a Bmar track?
You're gonna expect transparency. You're gonna expect honesty. You're gonna expect truth. You know what I'm saying? Not everything is super deep. Not everything is super lyrical. Not everything is a purpose or a message. But you're gonna expect a man who's telling his honest truth. You know, some days I feel like this. Some days I feel like that. My purpose is to drive people towards positivity and self-love. But I am a human. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes
you have the moments.
You have the moments. You feel me? So I don't like to box myself in like you mentioned earlier. You keep saying the shit. You keep saying the quotes, man. I'm being real. Like, that's why I like this interview. You have to express the 100% truth at all times. Because even if you're happy with it or you're not happy with it, you still have to confront it at all times. So my sound, not to get too, deep and shit, but like that, but my sound, you're going to get truth, you're going to get who I am at the moment, and you're going to get the reality of what I'm facing at that present moment, at that time. And if it rocks with you, if it resonates with you, I appreciate that. And if it doesn't, then it is what it is. That's just who I am as an artist, it's who I am as a man. It's who I am as a person, so, but...
No, and I think that's a good description. Because it's like, when I listen to your music, there's not just one sound that I would equate it to. Like, and what stuck out the most to me on that project, the last one, was the transitions, because I couldn't even tell that I was listening to a different song until I looked at the title. Like, I mean, I knew it was a different song, but I didn't know when it transitioned into that new song. Like, it was like a constant flow of just music, and that's what I like the most, when I don't have to press skip on my playlist or whatever, because the music is just flowing so like to the point like, damn, I didn't even notice the song changed, but this, I've been fucking with this album the whole time. Like that's why I say, like, when I first looked at it, you can be like, oh, it's 23 tracks, you feel overwhelmed. But once you press play, it just all flows so seamless, especially if you don't listen to it on shuffle. That's one thing I also like, when I don't have to shuffle projects. Especially when new stuff drop, I listen to it in chronological order. So I appreciate when the track list is literally flowed to tell a story in a sense. And that's exactly what your projects do and your music do. So let's just paint a little bit of a picture for the fans on, like, when you sit down to create, how does that go? Is it you're focusing on the beat first, or you had the lyric in your head, now you need to find the melody? Like, tell us what you do.
The funniest thing about inspiration, man, is you never know when that shit's gonna hit. The whole project stemmed from me playing with a guitar on Logic Pro. That's where I make my beats. So I was playing with a guitar. You know, I just went, can I bring my phone out real quick to play something? Is that cool? Yeah. I just want to... I was literally playing a guitar note. I was just like, just playing a guitar note. And at the end of it, I was like, let me see, it's gonna come up right now. Right here. I was playing this guitar note by itself without the music, just like. And I said, yo, that kind of sounds like some texture to be an album. Like, it sounded like a soundtrack to a scene or a movie.
Yeah, the startup, like,
you know what I mean?
Like the action about to get the bad guys coming, shoes popping out. We about to have a face off in this bitch.
Yeah, those two notes. Just I'm not music inclined. I don't know the keys. I don't know the notes.
But I know it sounded good.
I know music theory, but I was just like, yo, and that moment I was just like, yo, like, based on what I'm dealing with in my life currently, and based off the sound of that, you know, I was like, you know what? I want to make a project that represents not just what's good in life, but like the evil shit that we deal with internally and the shit that we go through on a daily basis that we feel prideful enough not to tell people. That's why you get songs like Heartless, Home, Lost in Translation, Problems. Man, it's like...
This can literally go on.
Bro, that project is literally about facing your demons internally, but having to walk away from them when you're not alone and live real life. You feel me? And that's something that we should strive. I'm not going to say we should, because I'm not the spokesperson for nobody in life, but we should strive to be better at, as a community, of being there for each other when we're dealing with those moments. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not God, I'm not nobody like that, but if you see your brother or sister dealing with something like that, bro, like,
give a hand.
Drop the pride and be like, yo, what's going on? Because 9 times out of 10, we're dealing with the same shit.
And that's what people don't understand. Is like,
feel me?
Life is a cycle for most people. Like, there's nothing that happened that somebody hasn't already experienced.
Thank you.
So you can't say that you're the only person going through it. You just haven't reached out to find somebody who can either give you the tools or just say, bro, I relate to that. Like, I feel you. So you don't feel alone. Because most times people's problem is they just feel alone. They don't feel like nobody could relate to this, or nobody cares to even understand what they're going through. And that's one thing I'm being more mindful now is, even if it's something that I might have subscribed as a problem, I'm gentle with my approach, because in your life, that's something that's serious. So I can't belittle it based off of it not being one in mine.
And yeah, that's a bar right there. And even too, like, I be thinking sometimes I'm going through stuff, and I talk to people who keep it more composed than me, and they're going through worse. That's even crazier. It humbles you more.
You're like, damn, I was tripping off of this.
Yeah. It's like, yo, I was bugging off that, and they just lost 2 sons and they have to work 3 jobs today. It's like, what the fuck?
They said excuse my language.
Excuse my language, but I'm like, yo, like, perspective is everything, man. So yeah, not to prolong that answer, but like,
no, that was the perfect answer. What I was striving to get. So let's talk just a little bit more about the actual albums or music that you blessed us with so far. Going through this a little different, starting with the anticipating project, Eternal Perspective. Is the upcoming album. First, what is the meaning behind that title?
Yeah, Eternal Perspective is basically myself trying to look at life in a light where I can be comfortable with how I'm living, what I'm representing, and be like, you know what, this is who I am, transcending past who I am right now. So if I was to pass right now, God forbid, or if this is the end, knock on wood. Word up. Word up. You know, God forbid, this is what I represent. This is God driven. This is a sound mind giving you what I felt in my spirit. And I just want people to understand that I'm a vessel. I'm not it. I'm not the man. I'm not the representative. I'm not better than nobody. I'm a fucking vessel, and I'm just like you. I'm just like him. I'm just like her. I just listen to God, and I try to do what I do. Just because you're a rapper, just because you're an artist, doesn't mean you're holier than thou. Doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
And the reason I say that is because and I don't like to say that, but the reason I say that is because a lot of people who make music nowadays, they think it is entitled past to shit on others or feel better than others. And I see that, I'm just like, no, it's not about that. You don't gotta be squeaky clean humble, but realize that you're not the one in charge of this shit. It's not about that. You know, we're all fueled by our own insecurities and our own problems and our own issues and whatever. You know, so Eternal Perspective, EP on the way. It's about understanding your true self and understanding the transparency that you deal with on a daily basis and just appreciating life, man, and giving glory to God, to be honest. That's what it is.
Is there a date for this project?
The release date, we're looking to release it.
It's Friday, October 7th.
No, shut up, Siri. What the hell? I did not ask you which date it was. I wasn't going to tell you to top me off again. I didn't want to sound like I was
No, you straight.
Yeah, see why? I'm turned up. This is for the cameras.
That's why I got it. I was like, we gotta have a good interview. Right?
I respect it. I like when hospitality is key, you know.
Come on, man.
When somebody comes, and even if you paid me, still treat me nice.
Not fast. I feel you on that. But I feel you. I'm sorry, can you ask that question one more time?
I don't even remember what I said.
Me neither.
No, I asked if there was the date for the Eternal Perspective.
One second. The date on Eternal Perspective, we're hoping to drop it sometime in November, December.
Okay.
December 25th would be fire. That'll be my birthday. But, might as well, right?
Double gift. Birthday and a project.
Right. So, whenever the time's right.
What would you say the vibe is going to be for this project?
That's dope. I like that. The vibe is definitely going to be... This is the most vulnerable I've been, so some people might be like, what is this? You're going to get acoustics on there, you're going to get guitars, you're going to get ballads, you're going to get that stuff. You're going to get lyrics too as well. You're going to get bars, you're going to get hard beats, but I think it's safe to say that you're going to get 100% who Brandon is. Not Bmar, who Brandon is. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get who Brandon Martinez is. And you're gonna get my internal battles, you're gonna get what I've dealt with and what I deal with on a daily basis, but sonically. And that's what it is. And
do you have any personal expectations for the project? Like we said, the last project, they rather well being an independent artist still want to come, but for that to be the second album, 100K streams isn't something to take lightly.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you always have goals, I always say the art and the music is separate. You know what I'm saying? Because art is more emotional than business. Business is more factual based. This is the project. I almost tricked my mind into thinking, I don't care how the numbers do, I'm going to just express myself. I had to sit back and I was like, no, I do care how this performs, you know what I'm saying?
No, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, And 9 times out of 10, whenever you do that, God blesses you automatically.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I realize too, whenever you stop caring about things you can control, that's when God steps in and does it for you, personally.
You know, that's a fact.
Yeah.
That is a fact. Like,
and it takes so much work to let Him do it.
I'm gonna say that, but that's the biggest part on our end is the trust and the faith and the belief that it's He's going to do it. Like, for a long time in my life, I used to stress about things that probably I should have never stressed about because it was going to figure itself out. But at the time, I didn't know that. But there just keeps being countless examples of how I didn't know how this shit was going to happen, but it did. It was like, well, it's the Lord. Like, it's the only thing I can think of. Like,
right.
Now, for Our Graceful Obedient Deaf, you released the project January 7th, 2022, and then followed up with the deluxe on July 22nd, 2022. First, like I keep saying, that was really like an amazing body of work, especially just coming from a first-time listener. What has been the response to that project just overall?
Yeah. The response is I'm grateful for it, man. I gained fans from Brazil, Chile, Mexico, Colombia. And the reason I say this, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. These are real kids, man. These kids. There's one kid asked me for can I send him a loaf of bread? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's fucking crazy. I'm just saying, like, I'm just like, what the fuck?
But you listen to my music. You found me on social media. Like.
Yeah, it's like my lyrics hit you, and don't get me wrong. I have rich kids in LA bumping my shit too. Mm-hmm. So it's like.
But it kind of hit harder for you for the people and it come from. I ain't gonna say like necessarily similar backgrounds, but like your stories aren't too far off path. Like it's like damn, like how Kanye did for you. Like he spoke to you in the backseat of that car, and now you speaking to another kid you never fucking seen a day in your life.
Exactly, man. So that shit right there, it's just you realize the vast impact you have, and it's like, yo, you have to be mindful of what you say. You have to be mindful of what you do. It's like these people, they don't idolize. I'm not going to say that, but they pay attention. Mm-hmm. They pay attention to what you say. They pay attention to what you do, and they care about you. You know, these people message me, yo, happy birthday on your birthday. Yo, like they see me post something. I hope you're okay. It's like that's family, man.
Right, like
I don't even like to call them fans, bro. Like those people are family members, and at the end of the day, man, like. When you're gone, bro, like.
No, I can really understand why you just even made that relevance to like fans being family because like it kind of is that same connection. Like we got family who we don't necessarily maybe speak to every day or communicate with often. Like you love them, they support you.
Yeah.
And when you come across a fan who you don't know, but they're literally like, yo, I love your music, or they just even took the time to reach out to you, it's like. Bro, I know people for like my whole life that ain't even told me nothing about my project, and you took the time to find me on social media and said like. I love you, nigga. Like, how could I not? Like, you love me, so I gotta give the same thing back.
And not to be so like deep and you know what I mean. Like I'm not trying to be so fucking like.
It's okay, bro.
I don't know why I apologize for this, but I always do.
You do not have to. Like honestly, it's a refresher to be able to have a conversation with somebody who isn't afraid to be open and honest and just communicate what's real because most times people are putting on a facade or they're in the street so they gotta can't really be too open and honest. To talk to an artist who one music matches the person and they can actually hold a conversation, I'm happy as fuck we did this interview because it's not often I get to the person inspires me to bring out more of my personal side. Most time I stick to my questions, what I want to get off and get from you, but I've been throwing my own emphasis and throughout this whole interview, and that's typically not what it is. So don't apologize.
I appreciate you for that, man, because. This is a small town where I'm at currently, and a lot of times, whenever you express yourself, shut up. That's what they say. They're like, stop. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure every fucking person in the world can relate to that. Everybody in Chi-Town, everybody in LA, everybody in Compton, everybody can relate to that. You know when you have a dream, yo, cut that shit out. We're not trying to hear that.
Exactly.
I'm not privy to that. I'm just saying... You kind of get prone to that. So whenever you do express yourself, it kind of becomes like, I feel like you're stepping over a line. But I just want to say I appreciate you And thank you for that, because
listen, I learned one thing I learned and accepted about myself is most times I'm telling people stuff about yourself that not even they want to hear, but probably nobody has even thought to tell them, and it's impactful to them because, like I said, when you tell me like, when you reached out to me, it's like, oh shit, another artist reached out to me, oh, they like what I got going on. It's like, it's not a validation of like, oh, I'm doing good, but it makes me feel like I'm on the right path. Like, just to hear from other people that I don't know from a can of paint, don't owe me no nothing, don't gotta lie to me. And you know what I'm saying? Like, my platform is growing, but it's not like I'm like a Vlad or Say Cheese where if you get on a platform, you're automatically going to blow. Like, right. You know? So it's like when I get real people, I respect it the same way I respect your craft. Like, I don't want to just half step with this. So when somebody respects my shit the same way I do, I don't have no choice but to rock with you 100% because there's people I literally know my whole life who I expected to support me who don't. And at first they used to fuck with me, but now I'm just like, I don't even want that support because it's not genuine. And I'm not even entitled to that support just because I know you. What I'm doing might not even fit what you like to watch, and that's okay. Because there's millions of other people in this world who just might fucking like this shit. And I don't gotta get the whole world. I can get a 50 million people, 20 million, 10, 5, whatever the fuck. That just fuck with me and I could be cool, bro. Cool. Like, that's where my mind's at now. Like, cause I was really like, for a little bit, I was really like, yo, I know way more people who's watching my shit, who subscribe to my YouTube, and why ain't nobody like, you got a problem with me? You don't want to see me doing good? This is some positive shit. Yeah. But then at the same time, I had to realize it might not just be for them.
Expectations, man.
It might not be for them.
It's like expectations are crazy. Expectations are good, but when you don't reach them, oof. What you meant, you said entitlement. It's a real thing, man. Because you expect these people to support you.
And that's really where we got to check ourselves as the creators.
That's a fact. You head on with that shit. That's real.
Because that really used to make me mad. I'm like, bro, like, I'm doing something positive. I see y'all sharing this whack-ass negative shit. People you don't even know. Yeah. You can even give me a share. I ain't asked you to pay me or nothing. Just share my shit. Alright, cool. But at the same time, I had to realize, well, did I share their shit? Did I support them? And even if I did, did I do that in anticipation for them to do it back for me? No, I just fuck with what they had going on. And if they didn't fuck what I got going on, does that mean they don't fuck with me? No, not necessarily. It just means what I'm doing don't fit them. Everybody got a season and a cycle in my life. They might not fit that. That's where that's what I had to start telling myself and accepting in order not to feel so resentful towards people who I felt should have been there. Because at the end of the day, people who you always think should be there most times ain't. But there's a million other people like you, yourself, other people who hit me up that want to be part of what I got going on. So why would I belittle y'all impact based off of who I wanted to be there? I'm going where I'm celebrated, not where I'm tolerated. Fuck that.
Come on.
Fuck that. This has been probably one of my favorite interviews season 2 so far because, like I said, it's not often I really just start talking. I mean, the wine is helping. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. But Bmar, like, I was looking forward to this interview for sure.
No doubt.
Now, I did also want to know, why did you follow it up with a deluxe rather than just dropping an EP?
Dope. I love that shit. I like music questions, so that's just fire. The reason I followed up with a deluxe, I have more to say. You know what I'm saying? I have more to say. The album was great, perfect, what I could display. But I lived more life, and I said, you know what? These songs portray what that chapter was about. Can I explain what "Oh God" means real quick?
Go ahead, do your thing.
Oh God, O-G-O-D, our graceful, obedient death. We all graceful. God gives us grace. Obedient. That's what we need to do for the Lord. And death, that's what all describes us. Yes, we die, but where are we going? The first thing we might say whenever we reach that pinnacle of death is, oh God. Oh God, why me? Oh God, why is this happening? Oh God, why am I stuck right here in these debts? Oh God, so I tried to paint that picture as I wanted it to be the picture of what we face in our last moments of life. Grace. Death. I don't like the word death anymore. I like separation. Transition. You feel me? I like transition. I like separation.
Yeah, that dude just seemed kind of final as fuck. Like, that's the end all.
Yeah, it's not though.
It's not.
It's not. And you know what's funny? You know what's funny too? I didn't realize what this project meant until I started working on this new one. I was working on this new project, and God told me, you know, our graceful, obedient death didn't mean any of the things you just thought it meant. Mm-hmm. All the things I just said to that camera wasn't it. You know what it really meant?
What?
You killed your old self.
Mm-hmm.
Your old self died. Mm-hmm. I gave you grace. And I killed death. I killed who that old person was. Now you're really living.
That's some deep ass shit right there. And most people who aren't really in tune with their self, or I would say they haven't reached that point of self-reflection, aren't going to understand the lessons or the words that you're spewing right now. But that shit right there, that was like nobody else but God can give that to you. Because like I said, when I listened to that project, I went into it not knowing what to expect, but as I listened to it, I anticipated the next track more and more because it was like, wow, I relate to this. He's saying shit that I feel like. And granted, like, we all have our... Like, one thing I always like to acknowledge, like, just as much as we believe in the Lord and His presence, the devil is just as real.
Oh my God.
So it's like, I can understand why we have this type of secular music or where people are more so driven towards that path because it's easier to fall into your negativity rather than it is to be positive. Mm-hmm. Way easier. So when I listen to your music, I'm like, bro, finally, like somebody who's talking what I feel like, and it's not like it's 100%. Oh, the Lord God, like it's just real life, bro. Like real life to people who are aware of a higher power, and that's what I like the most. Because I always feel guilty, like how I love the Lord, but I'm out here listening to gangster rap all the time. And I mean, don't get, I got my gospel music and stuff, but for the majority of it, it's fucking, you know, shit that's opposite of what my moral beliefs are. But I like it because of the beat. And they saying some catchy shit.
It's reality. It's reality, man. It's like, we can't... I appreciate you saying that, like, yo, like, you're not just God. No, it's reality.
And that's what it is, bro. And that's what people... I hate when people don't acknowledge the good and the bad of situations. Because there's always a choice.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Not to flip the whole shit, but, like, have you ever felt like you were somebody who wasn't too good for the gospel, but you were too bad? You were too good for the worldly. You ever felt like you was with your homies? Nah, you talking about God too much. But you felt like you was with your church? Nah.
Honestly,
it's like you in the middle.
That's me. Because...
Thank you.
I grew up in a situation...
You are every other human being on this planet.
I grew up in a situation where my great-grandma was a pastor. My grandma was a devout Christian. Take the kids to church. Everybody had to learn. But then I also grew up in a situation where it's like life is real as fuck. We struggling. Niggas getting evicted. Like, my dad's not around. Like, I'm living real life, but knowing what is also could be for me. Yeah. And then I also struggled with... what I'm supposed to be in life, because you know they teach you that homosexuality is wrong and all that, and in my mind I used to be like, bro, I never asked to feel these feelings toward the woman. I swear to God, I never asked to feel this way. Yeah. So that means I gotta go to hell for something I didn't ask for. Yeah. And then once I made that 2 and 2 connection, it's like, I think this is a lie. I think this is a man-made lie. Not saying like, oh, you're not supposed to do this, not to even get into that, but more so like, I knew that the God they were trying to put on me wasn't who He was, because I felt Him inside of me, and everything that I felt inside of me contradicted what they kept trying to tell me was Him. And I'm like, bro, that don't make no sense. You like told me you loved me and He knew me before I was here, but now that I'm here and I did shit that goes against what He said, He don't love me no more. I'm not right. That don't make sense. I didn't ask for none of this shit. This is just me, and now I'm here and I gotta deal with it. So you're lying to me, and I feel inside that I'm still loved. I know I'm a great person. I know that this decision doesn't make me want to go out and do harm to others. Like, I'm a good person. I can confidently stand on it. Like, I'm not perfect, but my intentions are always led with love 99% of the time. And even in the moments where the devil gets to me and he makes me go into my crazy side, I can... Which we all have. I can bring myself back and realize what is happening to me most times. So it's like, I completely understand what you said, and that's why it's like this conversation is refreshing, and it needs to be said, because most people don't get to be truthful in their path. No, it's so honest. Or even just acknowledge the power above us. Because I know for a fact, if I didn't believe in a higher power or just acknowledge Him, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. My life life itself would not, the path I was supposed to be on is 180 degrees from where I'm at right now, bro. So it's like, nothing nobody could ever tell me would deter me from who I know the Lord is, what I know He's done for me, or just continue to speak how I speak, because I'm confident. I know who I am. I don't need nobody to co-sign me or nothing. But when you do, it makes me feel better. But at the end of the day, I know that your co-sign or your non-co-sign don't determine what the fuck is coming for me. Like, that's why people say, that's why I told you, this shit is not about money for me. These interviews, like, I might charge a little fee or something, but it's not about the bread, bro. This is a higher plan. This is going to all benefit us in, like, 3 years when the platform blew up and y'all like, oh, shit, I got 100 million views on this joint because T went up. Like, yeah, we all went up, bro. We here to do this together. But I ain't going to give my blessings to just anybody. I ain't going to align my past with just anybody. But when I do align my path with you, I'm going to be genuine. Yeah. And before, like, I used to try to be mindful of how genuine I was to people, because I knew that 99% of the time you wouldn't get it back. But I had to stop limiting myself to be my full potential based off of other circumstances because it was too much fucking work. Trying to think, well, should I do this for this person? Or they don't really fuck with me that way. Bro, I'm going to just do what I do. Whatever comes from it, comes from it. I'm not in competition with nobody. I'm not looking to compete with nobody. I don't even want my name brought up in a comparison with nobody, simply because I know that our paths literally are not the same. So there's no point in even being on a comparison shit. It's really not. Like, what I'm building, what I'm working towards has nothing to do with nobody else. And and that's why I feel like I connect with creators, because they understand, like, what I'm doing right now, this person might not get. But it only takes one person to understand the vision for this shit to go to the next level. I only need one. The right one, I would say.
You got it, yo.
And that's why I don't trip, because for real, I was telling you, we're hardest on ourselves. We're hardest on ourselves. I be looking at my work like, well, I mean, that's good, but I could have did this, could have that, instead of just appreciating what it is. Yeah. Because I have so much expectations for myself that it makes it hard to be content. That's why it's like, that's why I can't stop.
Knocked it out the park.
I can't stop, won't stop, bad boy. Because I can't stop. Like, I cannot stop this shit. Like, when you was talking about how your shit was trash, but you kept going because you loved it, I've never felt something so more in my life. Like, I look at my first video, I thought them shit was hard. I look at them now like, girl, you was fucking up. That shit was not, I mean, you would have potential, but yo, like,
you look at that shit, you're like, I could have did a little better than this.
You was not who you thought she was at that time. But
I love it. I just want to say, yo, that shit was dope. That shit was real. I hope you put that in the interview, because I
don't edit nothing out of my interviews. I don't chop nothing unless it's like a fuck up extremely, but
maybe me choking on my water, maybe.
I'm gonna say that's gonna get cut out, but other than that, all this is staying in there.
Real shit, man. I just want to say real quick, I appreciate your transparency, and you're creative, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, you create. I can just tell off your spirit and your energy, like, you make shit. That's it.
That really what it is.
I don't want to talk too much.
And I had to stop telling, when people give me compliments, I had to stop trying to make them be humble with it. Like, no, accept that shit. Like, because that's a fact, bro. I be creating the hell out of shit. Like,
I can just tell how you speak. The fact that you listen to my project and peep the transitions, I was like, nah, she literally loves art, bro.
Just to listen to it, bro. I don't connect with you, just connect with it, because my life, I've been doing real shit. So I'm not doing this shit for the fun of it. Like I said, money is a thing that's going to help me in the end, but I'm not aspiring to create money. I'm aspiring to create something that's going to last. That's going, people watching my interviews.
What is your, if you I'm sorry.
Go ahead, do your thing.
What is your purpose for this whole thing? Like, what is one word that describes it?
My purpose?
Like, what is your purpose in terms of, like, interviewing artists? Like, what do you want them to reach?
Honestly, I've accepted.
I'm not trying to flip the whole shit.
Listen, this is the
I'm
best
actually
interview
intrigued.
I've been having.
I'm actually intrigued.
This is the best interview I've been having. What I've concluded my purpose is in this life is literally to be a stepping stone, a helping hand to other people. To be a joy for other people. To be a real person for other people. Like, before, I used to hold myself back for speaking how I felt, because I'm like, yo, this shit too real. People not going to understand it. Now, I'm going to say what I say, and if you connect with it, you connect with it, and if you don't, you don't. But I've truly accepted that my voice is a voice to be heard. I didn't never know why people will always be attracted to me. Like, I'm 5'2", 140 at most. But people respect me as if I'm like a 7'10", 300-pound man walked in the room. And I never understood that. I really never understood. Like, yo, why? Like, I respect you carry me in such a way, but I never understood it. And then I came to the conclusion, it's my voice. It's my voice, because I had one lady tell me, your voice is so powerful for you to be so small. Like, and when she said, I'm like, what you mean? I'm just talking. But then as I keep talking and I listen to myself, it's like, it's not the words that I'm saying, but it's the inflection of the head. When I speak, people feel that shit. And I had to accept that. Whether my delivery might be a little hood with it, because you know where I'm from, but I'm intellectual as fuck. I'm not dumb. You can't play me for nothing.
Absolutely.
So it's like, when I talk to my people, it's real. And I had to stop trying to downplay myself to fit into the corporate world, because, you know, I still work my fruits, so I answer them phones, I gotta, hey, how you doing? I have to be myself at all times in order to be content with my life. Because if I'm faking it, I'm thinking too much about my life. Thinking too much. I don't got time to be thinking about who I'm trying to be. I'm gonna just be myself.
Right.
Because if I don't, then it's not authentic. It's not real. And life is too real for me not to be real. Like, I don't got time to be thinking about how to make you not see what's really going on. Like, it might not be the most pleasant shit, but I ain't about to lie. Like, yo, listen, today I'm having a bad day. Like, and this is why.
Absolutely.
And if you can't respect it, then I just know that I can't be real with you in that instance, but don't mean I'm going to cut you off.
Yeah.
But I'm learning that I have to be graceful.
Right.
And just listen to people. Just listen. Right. Because like I said, I was having the expectation, like, why not y'all fucking with my shit? This is hot. Y'all, I'm cool. I'm a great person. I was nice to you. But that don't mean shit, Tierra. Like, that don't mean a damn thing to that person. I don't know what they're going through right now, why they didn't tune into my interview. They could be about to be getting evicted. They could be fighting to keep their kids.
25 to life.
In my little 50-minute interview, while they happy for me, that ain't something they can sit down and watch. And even if it's not that relevant situation, it just might not be on their mind. So I can't keep taking shit personal when it ain't personal. Because there's plenty of stuff people do that I didn't tune into whether I wanted to or not. Like,
let's be real.
Like,
me too. It's mad shit my homies did, and I'm like, yo, I was just laid up my girl.
Focused on myself. Focused on my fucking self.
I was focused on my dance. I was mixing a song. And they're like, yo, why didn't you? I was like, you know, I was doing that. Nah, that's amazing, man. I appreciate that. That's fire. Add that in the interview.
Everything y'all see is gonna be on there.
Can I also add about a label, Gutter Rose, right here, Gutter Rose Entertainment.
You see it.
And I would like to also just give advice to indie artists. We can do that anytime you want. I want to go on your schedule, but I'll just add those to it.
We can close that, because my next question would be more so was for still on our graceful obedient dad.
Absolutely, let's go.
Was why didn't we get more visuals from that project?
How many visuals did you see?
When I was on your YouTube, I probably seen about maybe 3 to 4 songs from that.
There was 10 visuals.
10?
10. There's 17 songs. There's 10 videos.
Wow, then I gotta go back.
I didn't mean to put you on like
that. Nah, you gotta do your thing, because I ain't gonna lie, the YouTube page, like, everything was there, but like,
actually, you know what? To be real, I think there was like 8. I think there was 8. And there was On and On, Lost in Translation, Hard. Yeah.
Well, maybe this could be for the next project. Maybe the execution of the deliverance of the visuals could be different. Because one thing that do go into mind when you drop a long length project, like I said, the transition was great. Yeah. But most times I didn't know when the new song started, which isn't a downfall. But now I don't know whether it was this song that I liked or it was the transition to this song that I like. And then now when I go look for a video, it's like, oh shit, what's the name of the song that I like? Because it's all the same. Not all the same, but it's like it transitions so well. Fuck. Yeah.
You know how I messed that up even more? Because like in my videos, I'll add like different sounds from another. I'll add like, say I have a video for track 8. I add the sounds from like track 13.
Oh, see, you can't do that. You gotta give us what we heard, because now when I look for it, I'm like, that's not what's on the album.
You know where I learned that from? I learned that from The Weeknd. The Weeknd.
Honestly, that was one artist I related you to the most, but didn't say that you were directly taking his style was The Weeknd, but it was more so for the production and the approach.
Need Your Love. it's the most. If you listen to "Need Your Love" on the project,
honestly, not even that you can't rap, but I prefer your R&B, your more melodic shit. Honestly, that's what really like when you start rapping, I feel that shit. But when you sing it to me, like keep going. Hey, I feel that shit. Like your Pipe Down remix.
Okay.
Oh my god, nigga, like.
Let's get it.
That joint was fire. I'm like, see, this. I like somebody who can sing to me, but I ain't trying to sleep when you're rapping because you definitely have bars. But that rap, and then you sing to me, alright, you got my heart. Like
word up. Yeah, man. Yeah, I love everything, bro. Like singing, rapping, beats, all that.
Yeah.
But
so let's take you to the first album, which was Chosen. You released that May 15th, 2020.
Yep.
When you look at that project compared to the last one, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Chosen. The first thing that comes to mind when I think of Chosen is a newborn baby stepping into the world and thinking everything is sweet. Chosen was beautiful. It was an amazing project. It was fire. It was who I was at the moment. But nowadays, when I look at Chosen, I'm like, you know what? That kid was... My discography is weird, right? You get Chosen, A Graceful Obedient Death, and Eternal Perspective. Mm-hmm. And the premise I tried to make with that trilogy was birth. God chose you to be somebody who you're supposed to be in life. Then you realize, oh shit, we get grace and we're supposed to live the life we need to. We all die at the end of the day. So it's chosen, oh God, this is a real life. Eternal perspective, meaning you're in heaven already. And I always knock on wood, like you said, I pray this discography doesn't outline my life currently, you know, but the premise of the whole premise of the trilogy projects was to represent somebody's living their full life. So Chosen is adolescence, you're young, you realize that, you know, this is what I do, this is life, you know, I'm chilling, this is beautiful, everything's great. Oh God, damn, you know what I'm saying? I really do have vices, I really do have things I sin against. EP, Eternal Perspective, is more so, whoa, I dealt with all that shit. Now I'm in a different place. I'm not here no more. I'm somewhere else. So, EP is more so, I'm living in an eternal place where I'm looking down on myself, you know, and that's why I always knock on wood. Because I'm one of those people that speak things to existence. I don't want to speak that to existence.
Yeah, nah, that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to speak my mental existence of knowing that what the fuck I was doing wasn't necessarily going to feed me to my higher purpose. I ain't trying to die. Like,
exactly.
Like,
you feel me?
Let's get that clear.
I want to speak to people in terms of this could happen if you separate, but at the same time recognize what's going on. But
that's honestly not even like, I think we're conditioned to speak on death in a sense of like, oh, I don't want this to happen to me right at this moment. But it's like death is really the only thing certain in this life. So I wouldn't say speaking on a sense of like avoidance of like, oh, I don't want this to happen right now. Because when we die, we want to die. We don't know our time. Yeah. But more so in the acceptance of I know I'm going to die. So in the time before that happens, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. I done self-reflected. I knew that me at 16 wasn't who I needed to be at 23. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like that's really what life is a cycle of you dying, yourself dying and evolution. Because once we die, of course, we don't necessarily know what comes next after that. But I find it really, 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 really hard to believe that we just die and that's it. After living, like first off, if you think about our existence period, strange as fuck. Like we're a human body, we got a brain, we doing all that shit, we can be creative as fuck, and it's all this stuff in the world, we got lights, all type of shit that we're like, bro, how did this come to be? Yeah. So when we die, that's just it? I don't think so.
Right.
I really don't think so. Like it's like that would be real dull as fuck of the world to be so complex for you just to die and that'd be it.
Yeah.
Like I don't believe that.
It's real.
But let's go into more so wrapping the interview up. Where am I at with this? Okay, so how have you grown from Chosen up into this anticipated project, Eternal Perspective?
I feel I've grown in terms of just living life and experiencing things that I thought I never would, and it goes back to that trial and error thing you was mentioning earlier, though. Like, you realize certain things don't work for you, and you realize certain things do. So.
No, that's that.
I feel like, just to elaborate a little more, I don't know, you can cut that pause up. But, you know,
overall, from my personal perspective, I think your growth has strictly been in your truth. And you've always been telling the truth, but it just became more comfortable, like you said, with this new project.
Yeah.
It's the most raw, the most perspective you ever been. It's like your music is a constant reflective of truth, honesty, and just where you are at that moment in your growth.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what the most we can take from any of your projects.
Yeah, you hit it right in the head, man. I was trying to
find the words.
Yeah, I was trying to like dialect that in the most precise way, but like truth. It's truth. It's like, you know, when I was making Chosen, you know, I thought that was, you know, everything we do in the present moment we think is reality. But when we do something else in the future, we think that's reality. So what is really reality? You know, it's like, that's my past. When I see that now, I'm just like, and I'm referring to my Chosen cover. You can show that on the screen later on. But like, it's about progressing and living life, man. It's not about being perfect. It's about learning from your mistakes, learning from what you did, and learning from what you've done, and paying attention to what you do currently. You know, to be very blunt, the difference between me and Chosen and now is I'm not who I used to be at 19, 20 years old. You know, I'm who I am now, and this is who I am now. You feel me? And that's a blessing, you know what I'm saying? I'm here, I'm alive, I get to experience that chapter. So, you know, it's a blessing, man. You know, it's new music, it's new experiences, it's new life. You feel me?
In closing, what do you want the fans to take away from this interview?
I want the people to take away from this interview, this is somebody who's transparent, this is somebody who's being honest with you. Be yourself, you know what I'm saying? Be who you are. Bet on yourself when there's nothing else to bet on. Even if there's other things to bet on yourself. Be who you are. You were born to be yourself, man. Be yourself. Live your truth. Man, just meditate on your purpose, you know what I'm saying? Meditate on your purpose. Don't be like him or her. Just be you. And eventually that shit will pay off. And love what you love. And don't accept what you don't accept. Don't fit in. Be who you are. You know what I'm saying? And this life thing it's not a game. It's a purpose. It's a path. It's not a game. It's a path. If you choose it. You know what I'm saying? So do what you gotta do. Represent who you are. And have fucking fun and live your damn life, man. Bmar. Cloudy Conversations.
Let's go. Like I said, it's your girl Big T. Bmar, Cloudy Conversations. We're happy for all you guys who tuned in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and download. And we are out.